Welcome back to Tech News Now. Get comfy, because today we're going deep into AI,
Ooh, fun.
specifically Google's ambitions.
Right.
It's kind of a wild landscape right now out there. You know, everyone from startups to like the big giants like Microsoft are battling it out.
Yeah.
But the real question is, can Google, a company known more for search results than like sentient robots, actually win this AI arms race?
I think that's a fascinating question. And to kind of get at that, I think we need to look beyond just algorithms.
Right.
They have this long history of innovation, obviously deep pockets, and a user base that's basically like woven into the fabric of the internet.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? Billions of people use Google Search and Android Gmail. I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they are everywhere.
Almost like that friend that just mysteriously shows up at every party you go to.
That's a great analogy.
Is that where the stickiness thing comes into play?
Yeah, so Google products are so ingrained in our lives that they generate just a crazy amount of data. So every search, every email, every swipe on an Android phone all feeds their AI ambitions.
Okay, so they have mountains of data.
Yeah.
But what are they actually doing with all this AI power?
So this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Google is pushing hard into agentic AI.
Hold on, Agentic AI. That sounds like straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does.
Right.
So imagine AI that can not only answer your questions, but can actually take actions for you in the real world.
Like what?
Okay, so let's say you're planning a trip.
Okay.
Instead of you having to scour websites and comparing prices, an AI agent could handle all of that for you.
Wow.
Factor in your preferences and even negotiate the best deals.
So like my own personal AI travel agent.
Exactly.
That's amazing. But wouldn't that require Google to know basically everything about me?
To a certain extent, yes.
Like my favorite airlines, the crunchy peanut butter I like to hoard in my suitcase.
Yeah, and that does bring up these really important questions about data privacy and how much control we're willing to kind of cede to these systems.
Yeah, for sure.
But from a purely technological standpoint, Google's in a prime position to make this kind of agentic AI a reality.
Okay, so we've talked about data and agentic AI.
Yeah.
What specifically gives Google like an edge in this race?
One major advantage is search.
Okay.
Every time you type in a question into Google, you're revealing something about yourself.
Yeah.
Your needs, your interests. Google has been collecting and analyzing this data for decades,
Okay.
which gives them an amazing understanding of human behavior and intent.
So it's like they've been low-key studying us this whole time.
Kinda, yeah.
Like some sort of digital anthropologist.
In a way, yeah.
A little creepy, but undeniably effective.
And this knowledge is so valuable for training AI that can understand human language, interpret complex queries, and provide really relevant answers.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's a huge advantage over competitors who just don't have that kind of data treasure trove.
So data and search are definitely in Google's corner.
Yeah.
But what about OpenAI? Folks behind ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Aren't they giving Google a run for their money?
Oh, absolutely. OpenAI is a force to be reckoned with.
Okay.
And they've made incredible strides with models like ChatGPT, but Google has a few key advantages, I think.
Okay, like what?
Well, one is they control their entire tech stack,
Oh, right.
from Pixel phones to Chromebooks to Google Workspace.
Right.
This allows them to optimize their AI across hardware and software,
Yeah.
creating a really seamlessly integrated experience.
It's true. They've built this whole AI ecosystem
Yeah.
where everything works together. They're
Yeah.
not just making the software, they're making the devices that run it too.
Exactly.
That's got to be a huge advantage.
It gives them a level of control and flexibility that many of their competitors just don't have.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But let's be real, Google's not some perfect AI utopia.
No.
They face their share of criticisms, right?
Absolutely.
Like the speed of their innovation,
Yeah.
concerns about their size making them less agile.
Of course, no company's without its flaws. The AI landscape is constantly evolving. New challenges emerge all the time.
Yeah.
But I think despite these potential hurdles, Google's combination of data resources and this strategic vision makes them a formidable player in this game.
So it sounds like Google's got a real shot at winning this whole AI race.
Yeah.
But what does all this mean for our listeners tuning into Tech News Now? Why should they care about this AI showdown?
That's a great question. I think ultimately these advancements in AI, particularly the development of agentic AI, have the potential to fundamentally change how we live and work.
So buckle up, everyone.
Yeah.
We're about to enter the age of AI, and it's going to be a wild ride.
It is. Imagine a world where your smartphone isn't just a device, but
Okay.
like a proactive assistant,
Okay.
anticipates your needs,
Yeah.
automates tasks,
Okay.
helps you navigate all the complexities of daily life.
Wait, are you saying we're all going to have our own personal Jarvis like Iron Man? Sign me up.
Not quite.
But how is this agentic AI different from like what we already have?
Yep.
With virtual assistants like Siri or Alexa,
Yeah.
they can already like set reminders and tell me bad jokes.
Yeah, that's true. So current virtual assistants can perform some basic tasks,
Right.
but Agentic AI takes things to like a whole new level.
Okay.
It's AI that can understand complex instructions, learn from its interactions, and even make decisions on your behalf, all while seamlessly operating across different platforms and devices.
So it's not just like asking your AI to add milk to your grocery list.
Right.
We're talking about AI that can handle like way more sophisticated tasks.
Exactly.
So could it like plan my entire vacation based on my budget and that weird obsession I have with miniature golf courses?
Precisely. Imagine telling your AI agent, plan a trip for me next month. I want something adventurous, but I also need reliable Wi-Fi so I can keep up with tech news now.
Okay.
It could handle everything, flights, hotels, activities,
Well,
even making sure your hotel room has a decent view.
that sounds amazing, but also kind of terrifying.
Yeah,
What if it books me a one-way ticket to Antarctica
right.
when I really meant to say Atlanta?
Exactly. And so these are valid concerns, and I think they really highlight the importance of responsible AI development.
Okay.
You know, building trust in these systems is crucial, and that means ensuring transparency,
Okay.
giving users control over how their data is used,
Right.
how much autonomy they give their AI agents.
Got it.
It's a partnership, not a takeover.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But back to Google. They're betting big on this agentic AI future.
They are.
But it's not like they're alone in this race.
Absolutely not. The AI landscape is incredibly competitive.
Okay.
Companies like Microsoft, OpenAI, even Meta are all vying for a piece of the pie.
So it's not just like a two-horse race between Google and OpenAI.
No.
This is like a full-blown AI rodeo
Yeah.
with everyone trying to wrangle the best technology.
Yeah, you could say that.
Each company brings something different to the table,
Yeah.
and it's still anyone's game.
It is.
All right, so we've got this fierce competition. The stakes are high. What does all this mean for the average person, like listening to tech news now today?
Yeah.
What changes will we actually see in the near future?
While it's tough to predict the future with absolute certainty,
Right.
it's safe to say that AI will just become increasingly integrated into our lives in ways that we can't even fully imagine yet. We're talking about a potential shift in how we work,
Yeah.
how we learn, how we interact with the world around us.
That sounds exciting
Yeah.
and a bit overwhelming.
Yeah,
And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about, like, the potential downsides.
absolutely.
What about job displacement?
Yeah.
Will robots be applying for our jobs soon?
Well, it's a valid concern as AI becomes capable of automating more tasks.
Yeah.
There's this fear it could lead to job displacement in certain sectors.
Right.
However, I think it's important to remember that AI is also likely to create new opportunities
Yeah.
in fields like AI development, data analysis, and AI training.
So it's not necessarily about robots like stealing our jobs,
Right.
but more about a shift in the types of jobs that'll be available.
Exactly. And I think this shift will require individuals and societies to adapt and embrace lifelong learning.
Okay.
You know, it's going to be crucial to develop new skills.
Right.
Stay ahead of the curve as the tech landscape continues to evolve.
So instead of fearing like the robot uprising,
Right.
we should focus on upskilling ourselves
Yeah,
and preparing for the jobs of the future.
exactly.
Get those robot repair manuals ready. Just kidding, sort of.
Yeah.
But speaking of the future,
Yeah,
what about the bigger picture?
right.
How might AI change our world in like the years to come?
That's a fascinating question and one that's tough to answer definitively.
For sure.
However, we can look at some potential trends, like, for example, AI-powered personalization.
Okay.
It's likely to become even more prevalent with everything from our news feeds to our shopping recommendations tailored to our individual preferences.
So even more targeted ads.
Potentially, yeah.
My social media feed already knows I have a weakness for vintage video game consoles. But on a more serious note, what about the potential impact of AI on things like healthcare and scientific research?
Those are areas where AI has enormous potential in healthcare.
Oh.
We're already seeing AI being used for tasks like medical image analysis,
Wow.
drug discovery.
Okay.
And in scientific research, AI is helping scientists analyze these massive data sets
Yeah.
and make new discoveries at like an unprecedented pace.
It sounds like AI has the potential to really make a positive impact on the world.
It does.
But with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Absolutely. As AI becomes more powerful and more pervasive, it's crucial to prioritize responsible development and ethical considerations.
For sure.
We need to think about things like algorithmic bias,
Yeah.
data privacy,
Right.
and the potential for AI to be misused.
All important points. But I'm curious from your perspective, what are some practical steps we
Yeah.
can take to ensure that AI is developed and used responsibly?
Well, I think one crucial step is to promote transparency.
Okay.
In AI systems, users should understand how AI systems work,
Okay.
how their data is being used,
Right.
and what factors go into the decisions that these systems make.
So no more like black boxes.
Right.
Where AI just does its magic behind closed doors.
Exactly. We need to understand the algorithms.
Yeah.
The data that's driving them.
And it's not just about transparency.
Right.
It's also about accountability.
Exactly. When AI systems make mistakes or exhibit bias, there needs to be a clear process for identifying and addressing those issues.
So it's not enough to just like create powerful AI.
Right.
We need like guardrails in place to make sure it's used ethically and responsibly.
Absolutely.
Sounds like we need to have a whole separate episode on AI ethics.
We do.
But for now, let's get back to Google
Okay.
and their role in all of this. We've talked a lot about like their strengths,
Yeah.
but they're not invincible, right?
Right.
What are some of the challenges they face in this AI race?
Well, one major challenge is the increasing regulatory scrutiny
Right.
surrounding AI, particularly when it comes to data privacy.
Right.
Governments around the world are starting to implement stricter rules for how AI can be developed and used.
Okay.
And this could potentially limit Google's ability to leverage its vast data troves.
So even though Google has all this data,
Yeah,
they might not be able to use it as freely as they'd like.
exactly.
Those mountains of data might turn into molehills if regulations get too strict.
That's right. They need to find ways to balance innovation
Yeah.
with responsible AI practices.
Right.
And that's not always an easy task.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about the competition.
Right.
Other companies are developing some very impressive AI capabilities.
Okay.
And they're hungry to take market share from Google.
It's a jungle out there.
It is.
But speaking of competition, we haven't talked much about Google hardware efforts.
Right.
They've got their Pixel phones, their Nest smart home devices.
Yeah.
How do those fit into their AI strategy?
That's a great question. So Google's hardware plays a crucial role in their AI ecosystem.
Okay.
By controlling the hardware, they can optimize the entire user experience for their AI-powered services.
Well, it's like they're creating this whole interconnected world where
Yeah.
your Google Assistant lives not just in your phone, but also in your thermostat and your doorbell camera.
Exactly. And this tight integration between hardware and software gives them a really significant advantage.
Yeah.
They can collect data from multiple touch points, personalize the experience,
Right.
and create a seamless AI ecosystem.
Okay, so Google's got the data, the software, and the hardware.
Yeah.
They seem pretty well positioned to dominate the AI landscape.
They seem to be.
But as we all know in the tech world, things change quickly.
Yeah, they do.
What are some potential roadblocks or surprises that could shake things up?
Well, one possibility is the emergence of some new disruptive AI technology.
Okay.
Think about how quickly things changed when ChatGPT was released.
Oh.
It seemingly came out of nowhere and just shook up the entire industry.
Yeah, that's true. It's like a tech version of those giant monster movies.
Yeah.
Where a new creature emerges from the depths.
Right.
And
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, what's that thing?
Exactly. So even though Google is this giant,
Yeah.
they can't afford to become complacent.
Right?
They need to stay agile, keep innovating, and just be prepared for the unexpected.
That's a great point. This AI race is far from over.
That's not.
But I have to ask, with all this talk about Google and their ambitions,
Yeah.
are they becoming too powerful? Should we be concerned about one company having so much influence over the future of AI?
That's a complex question with no easy answers.
For sure.
I think it's important to have these open discussions about the power dynamics in the tech industry
Yeah.
and ensure that no single company has a monopoly on innovation or influence.
Right. We don't want to live in a world where one company controls all the AI.
No, we don't.
But before we spiral into like a dystopian tech thriller, let's shift gears a bit and talk about something a little more concrete.
Right.
We've discussed Google's ambitions,
Yeah.
but What are some specific examples of how their AI is already being used in products that we use like every day?
Well, for starters, Google's search uses AI to understand the intent behind your queries
Okay.
and deliver more relevant results. It's not just about matching keywords anymore. It's about understanding the context and meaning of your search.
So Google search is getting smarter and more intuitive thanks to AI.
Exactly.
I guess that explains why it seems to know what I'm looking for even before I finish typing my query.
Yeah.
But what about other Google products?
Well, Gmail uses AI to filter spam,
Okay.
categorize emails, and even suggest smart replies.
Nice.
So it's not just saving you from like a deluge of unwanted marketing emails. It's also trying to make your inbox a little less chaotic.
That's a lifesaver
Yeah,
for someone like me who gets approximately a zillion emails a day.
I hear you.
What about Google Maps?
Google Maps relies heavily on AI for a whole range of features.
Yep.
Think about traffic prediction,
Yeah.
route optimization,
Okay.
even identifying landmarks and businesses and street view images. It's all powered by AI.
Wow. I had no idea AI was working so hard behind the scenes at Google Maps.
It is
I always thought it was magic.
a little bit.
But speaking of magic, let's talk about Google's hardware.
Okay.
How is AI being integrated into their devices?
Yeah.
I'm especially curious about those Pixel phones.
Well, their Pixel phones use AI for features like call screening,
Right.
which uses AI to identify and block spam calls.
Oh, that's nice.
And then there's real-time translation, which can translate conversations and text in real time.
Wait, real-time translation?
Yeah.
That sounds straight out of Star Trek.
It does.
Is that actually as seamless as it seems?
It's getting pretty close.
Wow.
It's still under development, but the progress has been remarkable.
Yeah.
And of course, let's not forget about astrophotography mode, which uses AI to capture those amazing images of the night sky.
Okay, now you're just showing off all the cool tech I don't have.
I know.
But seriously, that's incredible.
It is.
It sounds like Google's really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
They are, and that's what makes this whole AI race so exciting to watch.
Yeah.
It's not just about like incremental improvements anymore.
Yeah.
It's about fundamental shifts in how we interact with technology.
Speaking of fundamental shifts,
Yeah.
I think our listeners would be remiss if we didn't touch on the potential downsides
Absolutely.
of all this AI advancement. We've hinted at it throughout the episode,
Yeah.
but it's worth exploring a bit further.
You're right. It would be irresponsible not to address those concerns.
Okay, so let's get real for a moment.
Okay.
What are some of the biggest concerns surrounding AI?
Well, one of the most pressing concerns is job displacement.
Okay.
As AI becomes more sophisticated, it's capable of automating tasks that were previously done by humans.
Yeah.
This could lead to significant job losses in certain sectors.
It's a classic robots taking over the world scenario, right?
Well, it's not quite that dramatic,
Okay.
but it is a valid concern and one that we need to address proactively.
Okay.
We need to think about retraining programs for workers whose jobs are displaced by AI,
Right.
and we need to invest in education and skills development that will prepare people for the jobs of the future.
So it's not just about fearing the robots,
Right.
but about adapting to the changing landscape
Yeah.
and preparing for a future where AI plays a larger role in the workforce.
Exactly. Another major concern is algorithmic bias.
Oh, yeah.
AI systems are trained on massive data sets.
Right.
And if those data sets are biased, the AI systems will reflect those biases.
So if the data is flawed, the AI will be flawed too.
That's the risk.
Right.
And this can have serious real-world consequences, especially in areas like hiring, lending, and even criminal justice.
Wow.
We need to ensure that the data sets used to train AI systems are diverse and representative.
Okay.
And we need to develop mechanisms to identify and mitigate bias in these systems.
That makes sense. We need to hold these AI systems accountable,
Right.
just like we hold human decision makers accountable.
Absolutely. And we need to be mindful of the potential for AI to be misused.
Okay.
In the wrong hands, AI could be used for malicious purposes,
Right.
such as creating deepfakes or developing autonomous weapons systems.
Okay, now you're really giving me those dystopian sci-fi vibes.
I know.
But I get your point.
Yeah.
We need to be aware of the potential downsides of AI
Absolutely.
and work to mitigate those risks.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between harnessing the power of AI for good while also safeguarding against potential harms.
Well said. And on that note, we're just about out of time for today's deep dive into the world of AI.
Okay.
And Google's place in it, it's been an incredible journey.
It has.
Full of mind-blowing possibilities and some sobering reality. So we've got a question here from David who asks, with all this talk about Google's AI ambitions, What are some specific examples of how their AI is already being used in products we use every day?
That's a great question. David, Google's AI is already deeply embedded in so many of the products we use every single day,
Okay.
even if we don't realize it.
Okay.
So for starters, Google Search uses AI to understand the intent behind your queries and deliver more relevant results.
Right.
It's not just about matching keywords anymore.
So it's like Google search is reading our minds now.
Well, not quite mind reading.
Okay.
But AI is helping Search understand the nuances of human language and deliver a more personalized experience.
Right.
Think about it. You can ask Google a question in a conversational way,
Yeah.
and it often understands what you're looking for, even if you haven't used the exact keywords.
Yeah, that's true. I've definitely noticed search getting a lot smarter over the years.
Yeah,
But what about other Google products? Are they using AI in similar ways?
absolutely. Gmail uses AI to filter spam, categorize emails, and even suggest smart replies.
Okay, cool.
So it's not just saving you from a deluge of unwanted marketing emails.
Right.
It's also trying to make your inbox a little less chaotic.
That's a lifesaver for someone like me who gets approximately a zillion emails a day.
I hear you. What about Google Maps?
I use that app religiously.
Google Maps relies heavily on AI for a whole range of features.
Okay.
Think about traffic prediction, route optimization, even identifying landmarks and businesses in Street View images.
Okay.
It's all powered by AI.
Oh, wow. I had no idea AI was working so hard behind the scenes in Google Maps.
It is.
I always thought it was magic.
A little bit, but speaking of magic, let's talk about Google's hardware.
Okay.
How are they integrating AI into their devices?
Yeah, I'm especially curious about those Pixel phones.
Well, their Pixel phones use AI for features like call screening,
Okay.
which uses AI to identify and block spam calls.
Oh, that's nice.
And then there's real-time translation, which can translate conversations and text in real time.
Hold on, real-time translation. That sounds straight out of Star Trek.
It does.
Is that actually as seamless as it seems?
It's getting pretty close.
Wow.
It's still under development, but the progress has been remarkable.
Yeah.
And of course, let's not forget about astrophotography mode, which uses AI to capture those amazing images of the night sky.
Okay, now you're just showing off all the cool tech I don't have.
I know, but seriously, it's incredible.
It sounds like Google's really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
They are, and that's what makes this whole AI race so exciting to watch.
Right.
It's not just about incremental improvements anymore.
Right.
It's about these fundamental shifts in how we interact with technology.
Speaking of fundamental shifts,
Yeah.
I think we would be remiss if we didn't touch on the potential downsides
Yeah.
of all this AI advancement. We've hinted at it throughout the episode.
Absolutely.
But it's worth exploring a bit further.
You're right. It would be irresponsible not to address those concerns.
Okay, so let's get real for a moment. What are some of the biggest concerns surrounding AI?
Well, one of the most pressing concerns is job displacement.
Okay.
As AI becomes more sophisticated, it's capable of automating tasks that were previously done by humans.
Yeah.
This could lead to significant job losses in certain sectors.
It's the classic robots taking over the world scenario, right?
It's not quite that dramatic.
Yep.
But it is a valid concern and one that we need to address proactively. We need to think about retraining programs for workers whose jobs are displaced by AI.
Right.
And we need to invest in education and skills development that will prepare people for the jobs of the future.
So it's not just about fearing the robots,
Right.
but about adapting to the changing landscape
Yeah.
and preparing for a future where AI plays a larger role in the workforce.
Exactly. Another major concern is algorithmic bias.
Okay.
AI systems are trained on massive data sets, and if those data sets are biased, the AI systems will reflect those biases.
So if the data is flawed, the AI will be flawed too.
That's the risk, and this can have serious real-world consequences, especially in areas like hiring, lending, and even criminal justice.
Yeah, that's scary.
We need to ensure that the data sets used to train AI systems are diverse and representative.
Okay.
And we need to develop mechanisms to identify and mitigate bias in these systems.
That makes sense. We need to hold these AI systems accountable,
Yeah.
just like we hold human decision makers accountable.
Absolutely. And we need to be mindful of the potential for AI to be misused.
Right.
In the wrong hands, AI could be used for malicious purposes, such as creating deep fakes or developing autonomous weapons systems.
Okay, now you're really giving me those dystopian sci-fi vibes.
I know, but I get your point.
Yeah, we need to be aware of the potential downsides of AI
Yeah.
and work to mitigate those risks.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between harnessing the power of AI for good while also safeguarding against potential harms.
Well said. And on that note, we're just about out of time for today's deep dive into the world of AI and Google's place in it. It's been an incredible journey, full of mind-blowing possibilities and some sobering realities.
It has been a pleasure sharing these insights with you and all of our listeners.
And a huge thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in and sending in your questions.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you found this deep dive informative and thought-provoking. Remember, the future of AI is still being written.
It is.
And we all have a role to play in shaping it. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring the ever-evolving world of technology.
Definitely.
This is Tech News Now, signing off.